Let's announce the starters for tonight's matchup.
Hi, everybody. Thankful and grateful you could join us for another installment of East Los Angeles College Huskies basketball on the home of the Huskies. This is SportsNetUSA.net. Dan Gudino here. Tonight, your ELAC Huskies take on the Los Angeles Trade-Tech College Beavers. This is a South Coast Conference matchup in the 21st game of the season for East LA. Let's get right into it. This one might get out of hand quickly as the Huskies come in with a 17-3 record. The Beavers come in with a 3-18 record, 0-1 in conference. The last victory for Trade-Tech was 3 weeks ago against Compton, so the Beavers will look to upset East LA. Dan Gudino here alongside Noah Alvarez.
6'2" sophomore, number 10, John Sanders.
Yeah, grateful to be here. Game 2 of the conference, excuse me, Game 3 of conference play. Second home game that will be here.
At forward, a 6'8" sophomore.
As the starting lineups are being introduced, just moments away from tip-off, Dan Gudino alongside Noah Alvarez here from Monterey Park, California.
The head coach for the Huskies is John Mosley. Let's play some basketball.
So we're just about ready to begin the first half.
Both teams converge at center circle. JT Langston and Brandon Sanders will win the tip. Huskies in their all-white home uniforms. Tech in their black and purples. Down low quickly. Trade-Tech opens up the scoreboard 2-0. Just underway here from Monterey Park, California. And an instant turnover to the far sideline. Sanders trying to find Scott.
That's how Friday's game started, too. The opening possession for ELAC was a turnover. I'm sure Coach Mosley is not too proud of that.
Huskies all-time 19-0 in the Coach Mosley era against Trade-Tech. Here's Amari Ferguson weaving his way in and getting the friendly roll. 4-0, Trade-Tech attacking. East LA responds quickly. Terrell Hunt cuts the deficit. So Trade-Tech looking to move fast tonight.
I think that's one thing, too, if you're Coach Mosley and ELAC. Starting out the gate strong, they let Rio Hondo hang around for a little bit. There was actually 28-18 before they went on a 21-9 run to close the first half. But they need to start the pace strong and not let these teams hang around despite looking at their record.
Yanni Silveira splashed a 3 on his end, 7-2 ball game. Huskies come in as the 8th-ranked team in the state. Here's Terrell Hunt. Spinning, jumper, no. Hunt. Corey Cofield can't get the putback twice. The other way, this is Amari Ferguson trying to lob it up. Langston comes up with the loose ball. Ahead to Cofield. Cofield to a cutting Hunt. Hunt fakes, hands off to Cofield, right in front of the rim, gets rejected. Good defense, lots of energy by the Beavers here early on.
Yeah, the Beavers are very similar to that Roadrunner squad we saw on Friday. Both only have a couple wins on the season. It's been a few weeks since this team last won their game, but they're starting the gate strong. They're not afraid of this ELAC team, despite their record and them being dominant in the Coach Mosley era.
So the Tech Beavers looking to come up with a puncher's chance, looking to upset East LA. Here's McDougal swinging it left side of Ferguson against Sanders. 10 seconds on the ticker. Ferguson drives off balance. Corey Cofield falls on his bottom, takes the charge. Husky basketball.
It's a nice job. Not an easy thing to do to sacrifice your body like that. He was also aware of where the restricted area was. Good heads up play there by Cofield.
Apologize for the technical difficulties. We're about to fix the camera situation here. 7-5 ball game, 17:25 to go. McDougal swings it right side to Ferguson. There we go, camera's now running. Sanders, good defense against Ferguson to the corner. Silvera with his second three-pointer of this ball game. 10-5 ball game in favor of the Tech Beavers, looking for the upset here. Langston fakes, drives, rejected from behind. That's Brandon Sanders who swats the ball on the baseline. So the Huskies looking to remain undefeated all time in the Mosley era. Here's Sanders, who fires a three. Langston able to corral that. Using strength down low, Langston gets the and one. Cuts the deficit to three. 10-7 ball game, 16:49 to go. Jazir Thomas will check in as Amari Ferguson will check out.
Shooting one.
Huskies ranked number 6 in the state, come in with a 17-3 record, 2-0 in the South Coast Conference. As they look to come up with the 7th straight South Coast Conference North title. A strip ahead to Langston, open lane, two-hand flush. Langston and the Huskies tie it up, 16:35 to go. Thomas swings it to Berzanetti, down low to McDougal. Good defense by the Huskies. A one-on-one for Cofield. Cofield, easy lay-in. Huskies with their first lead of the game, 12-10. Here's Thomas. Finds the crease, down low to Ferguson. Ferguson fouled from behind. Terrell Hunt will be charged there.
Sanders fouled on the shot. Foul charge for the Huskies.
On the clock, 15:57 in a 12-10 ball game in favor of East LA.
Sanders to the line.
Sanders averaging 7 points. 73% from the line, showing why there.
Substitution for the Huskies into the game, number 5, Donjay Lindsay.
Donjay Lindsay will check in for the first time for East LA as John Sanders will take a seat. Coach Mosley looking for his 20th victory all time against the Beavers, as he's searching for the 18th victory of the season as they approach 20 wins on the season. Every single season, Coach Mosley has coached here at East LA. They've attained 20-plus victories every single season. They're on track for that here. Here's Scott. Scott will launch. Line drive three-pointer, no. Ferguson rebound. Jazir Thomas conducting the point guard. 15:30 to go in this ball game. Tie ball game, good strip. Lindsay slams it home.
Donjay Lindsay, 4-2.
14-12 ball game in favor of your Huskies. 15 minutes, 10 seconds to go. We got a late start this evening because the women's basketball game went into overtime. Here's Thomas, down low to Ferguson, well defended. The height of the Huskies there. Roland McDougal III is charged with a foul. Gregory Melvin will check in for East LA as Terrell Hunt will sit down. Under 15 minutes to go in this first half now. Lindsay hands off to Scott. Scott weaving through, floats it up, gets it. 16-12 ball game, 14:40 to go. Jazeer Thomas now. Thomas off the mark. Ferguson tried to slam that one home. There's Scott. Down low to Melvin Ferguson with his third block of the game.
Great block. Husky defense kicking in already.
As women's basketball head coach Bruce Turner joins us. McDougal III off the mark. Trade-Tech coming in with a 3-14 record, a pesky team, looking for a puncher's chance here tonight.
Much better team than that record indicates. A lot of potential D1 talent on this team. Kind of match the body length, the body style of the Huskies. Long, lean, and athletic.
Three-point attempt by Janelette, no. Thomas, no. JT Langston all over that. Here's DC losing the basketball. Melvin recovers to Scott, back to DC. Corner three, off the 9 o'clock side of the rim and brought down by the Beavers. Berzonetti, no. Loose ball, last touch by the Beavers. 13 minutes, 29 seconds. Huskies with a 16-12 lead. This is a South Coast Conference matchup within the North Division. There's Langston, sort of cutting Melvin. Melvin gets double team and stripped. The other way, it's Thomas. 13 minutes, 10 seconds. Thomas lobbing it up. A little too high for McDougal. Had the right idea there.
Great pass.
Melvin spinning and banking it off the glass. Lead extends 18-12, 12:50 to go.
Beautiful push by John Saunders. Spun out of it and hit the trailer. Melvin on the easy gimme.
Got a foul. Langston will be charged there.
JT with a touch foul trying to get over the high pick and roll.
And the Beavers of LA Trade call it.
So the Beavers call timeout. We'll stay on the air with 12:46 to go. Huskies with an 18-12 lead. Thankful and grateful you could join us here on the home of the Huskies. This is SportsNetUSA.net. Dan Gudino alongside head coach of women's basketball here at ELAC, Bruce Turner.
We ask that all food be consumed.
Good crowd out tonight. Not as the usual Husky following, but a really good crowd. In the third game of SCC North play. These games are always more,
right?
Contested than you think, because the teams know each other so well, and the guys play together all summer.
Early on, Trade-Tech took an early 6-point lead, but the Huskies closed that down. The starters for East Los Angeles held it tight and have given themselves a comfortable cushion here early on. 12:46 left first half, 18-12 ball game in favor of your Huskies. On the floor for the Huskies, Demetrius Caleb, Gregory Melvin, John Sanders, Christian Oliver, and Donjay Lindsay. Here's Berzonetti. Going right side to Janelett, who airballs that. Doesn't even touch the rim, goes straight out of bounds. 12:40 left.
Yeah, the Beavers depend on a lot of three-point shooting. If the three ball's not going, they tend to struggle.
Here's DC, who leads the state in three-pointers. A steal the other way. Thomas able to finish.
Beautiful reverse layup after the steal. Huskies been a little sloppy here.
There's Lindsay pushing it to Sanders. Oliver down low to Melvin. Melvin going to work. Gets caught up, has to reset. Here's Caleb. Jumper off balance, no.
Beautiful move, but just didn't finish the bucket.
Three-point attempt by Janelett, drains it.
Beautiful shot. Melvin had a hand right in his face. Good defense, just a better shot.
Basketball nowadays, the three-pointer is the go-to, but Coach Mosley's style hasn't really kept up with the times. Do you think he'll eventually have to adjust?
Well, it's all about personnel and percentages. Coach has he loves his forwards to really dictate the game. And in recent years, the guards have opened up with more three-point shooting.
Here's Berzanetti getting harassed. Has to go to Ferguson, back to Berzanetti. This is Thomas against Lindsay. 10 seconds on the ticker. Driving right side, short. Loose ball picked up by Sanders. Ahead to Lindsay. Lindsay from the wing to the lane gets popped and dropped.
Beautiful Euro move. Lindsay going down the lane to draw the contact. Now he'll be going for two and they call it out of bounds. I thought sure he had gathered to draw two free throws, but
I don't think he put his hands up yet. So
well, he was hitting the floor, so it was hard to do both.
Well, we have a saying here on SportsNetUSA.net. Zebras always know best. 10:55 to go. 1-point ball game, 1-point lead for the Huskies, 18-17 in favor of your Huskies. Sanders will inbound. Down low.
Ooh.
Scott can't get it. Tries to muscle one up, but he'll get two at the stripe.
Beautiful back cut off the stacked inbound play. And Huskies back at the line.
Scott attended Washington Prep High School, Los Angeles City section product. Attended the same high school as Coach John Mosley. Maybe some Washington Prep love there, huh?
Yeah. I played at the rival Locke High School. That was a hard place to not only play, to exit.
I have seen and heard, Coach.
Great rivals go in that area, though.
There's Thomas. Deep three by Janelett. Off the right side, Sanders corrals it. 10:35 left, first half here on SportsNetUSA.net, home of the Huskies. Melvin goes to work. Melvin, hook shot, drained in.
Took his time, got in 2 feet in the lane, little jump hook as he gave him the shoulder. Beautiful play.
Thomas tries to weave in, falls. And an
offensive foul. Player control.
On the clock, 10 minutes, 13 seconds to go. 21-17 ball game in favor of East LA. Lindsay will bring it up. That's Sanders. Gets a screen by Melvin, launches the three and splashes it.
Beautiful. There's some of that three-point shooting you wanted to see. Well done. Read the screen so well.
7-point lead for the Huskies. Biggest lead of the game for East LA. And another body drops for Trade-Tech. This time it's Donjay Lindsay who's accused. Checking in for Trade-Tech, Mari Ferguson out of the game. Julian Berzanetti. On the floor for the Huskies, Lindsay, Scott, Melvin, Oliver, and Cofield. Ball disappeared for a sec there. Thomas inbounds to Ferguson. Down low to Ferguson to the corner, wide open. Three off the mark. Oliver comes down with it.
Great ball moving. Get nothing out of it.
You get a sense that the Beavers are going to have to be near perfect as Melvin fades away and gets fouled on his jumper.
Yeah, I think they're going for the homeroom a little too much. They had great ball movement there, a little shot fake drive. Probably would have boded well for them, the Beavers, on that last attempt. Because East LA College is going to pound it inside to their forwards where they're a little overmatched. So,
what do you tell a team that's been struggling all year and then having to go against a juggernaut like East LA?
Well, you have to do the little things. You know, no second shot, rebounds, limit your turnovers, and then make the good team score over you. You can't go for steals, going for the home run play.
Melvin gets the bounce, extends the lead, 25-17, 9 minutes, 25 seconds. Thankful and grateful you could join us for another installment of Huskies basketball. Here's Thomas against Lindsay. Crossing over, Lindsay comes up with the steal. Lindsay goes back to Cofield. Cofield chasing it down, attacks, off balance, tries to muscle it up. Melvin volleyballs it in.
Oh, great two-hand follow, caught it below the rim. The old game we used to play called tip-in. You had to shoot the ball before you came down. Yeah.
It's the schoolyard game. 8:45 to go. Weaving through is Ferguson. Good defense by East LA. Scott spinning. Scott driving up and under. Just can't get it. Melvin with the steal at midcourt.
3-on-2.
Elbow jumper off the mark. Ferguson rebound. Thomas the other way. Down low to McDougal. Finish on the left side. As Coach John Mosley will call timeout at the 8:16 mark. 27 for East LA, 19 for Trade-Tech.
Yeah.
And the Huskies call a timeout.
Back inside the friendly confines of the E-Arena, the South Gym on the campus of East Los Angeles College. 27-19 ball game in favor of your Huskies. 8 minutes, 16 seconds to go in this first half. On the floor for East LA, Cofield, Oliver, Scott, John Sanders with the basketball, and JT Langston. There's Sanders going behind his back, down low to Oliver. Oliver can't handle it. Ahead to McDougal. McDougal lays it up, lays it in. Deficit cut to 6. 7:55 to go.
Beautiful pass by Sanders, but he kind of handcuffed the big man because he couldn't see the pass through the bodies. It led to an easy two by the Beavers.
Down low to Langston. Langston gets the and one, kisses it gently off the glass.
That was a great fundamental play. A nice screen down, sealed, bounce pass, he turned and face. A coach's dream. Head and shoulder fake, absorb the contact and finish.
Langston, one of the more improved players from last year to this year.
They seem to be a different team when Langston's on the floor. He just covers so much ground and still is as athletic as the other two forwards.
Langston was really upset when they lost without him as he was nursing an injury. was held out for 3 games, wanted to come back, but Coach Kent Hunter and Mosley just kept him out. Told him, slow down, young bull, there's plenty of time.
Ooh.
Good jumper there on the left side by Janelett. 30-23, Huskies still in the lead, 7:20 left. Here's Hunt, hands off to Scott. Crossover move, weaving through, left hand finish.
Beautiful. That was a finger roll with butter and jelly. So smooth, like the old Iceman before some of our time around here. George Gervin, love the finger roll.
If only the young guys knew, huh? Cofield gets the long rebound. Ahead to Scott. Scott pushing the pace. Finds a crease. Spins to Langston, who tomahawks it down. J.T. Langston with the play of the game so far. 6:35 to go. And a response by McDougal. My world. Hunt. Cofield. The crowd still buzzing around the Langston slam from the free throw area. Hunt too strong. Ahead to McDougal. Hunt is called for a push.
Tough call. Tough call.
Husky faithful.
Loose
in
ball.
disagreement. Yeah.
Loose ball down the court. And Hunt is going for the steal, and incidental contact occurred. Foul call. But on that last terrific dunk, JT about high as the top of the square. Beautiful play by
We were just
Scott.
talking about how hungry
Yeah.
he is this season. They'll be surprised if he makes a run for SEC North Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think he's the best guy I've seen in the conference so far. Even missing a couple of games in the crossover.
Here's Ferguson for Tech.
All right. Little cosmetic call, as they say.
Davion Janelett, charge there. On the clock, 5:53 to go, 34-25. I get a feeling that Langston dunk will be rewatched and watched again on social media. Here's Scott to the corner. Hunt off balance, can't get it. Loose ball foul against Scott. Scott too aggressive there.
Scott has such great control as he weaves and bobs through the lane. Really takes his time, almost like Luka Doncic. You know, you can't really speed him up. He does a great job sharing the ball.
Terrell Hunt will sit out. Gregory Melvin steps on. Clock reads 5:37 in a 34-25 ball game. Janelett gets the first of the 1-and-1. Second one off the back iron. Scott rebound. Hands off to Sanders. Sanders from the elbow. Splashes that one home. 10-point lead for East LA. 36-26, 5:15 to go. Here's Thomas trying to go reverse side. Ahead to Scott. To the corner to Sanders, who will launch a three and bombs the three as Trade-Tech will call timeout. 5:07 to go. Huskies with a decently 39-26 here on SportsNetUSA.net. back inside E-Arena. We call it E-Arena because we got dreams of playing in bigger arenas.
Coming soon, coming soon. You know, they were supposed to break ground during the 2020 season.
Have you seen plans for that yet, by the way?
Not official.
Okay, so coming to Monterey Park here on the campus of East LA, a new sports complex, right?
Supposed to be about a 3,000-seat arena.
Really?
Along with classrooms, a couple of practice courts.
Wow.
Yeah.
East LA is where it is, huh?
It's
All of a
time.
sudden, it's time, huh?
I like the flexibility of having 2 gyms, 2 different sites, but hey, you can't argue with progress.
Here's Berzanetti bringing it forward for the Tech Beavers. Oh, good hustle by Sanders.
Beautiful.
Goes the other way, though, as McDougal with a 2-hand flush.
Yeah. Had a car wreck here, train wreck at midcourt, no call.
As Coach John Mosley is charged with the tee. You can relate.
Yeah, it's hard to see your player go to the floor. We're always asking our players to go to the floor. Davis goes to the floor, receives the ball, and he has a Tech player jump on top, which constitutes a foul. And then he loses possession. Many times the official, if no possession is lost, they won't call the foul. But Tech gets 2 free throws.
Coach Mosley more animated than usual. Don't take this as disrespect, but I feel like a lot of times you're way more animated. See, the cameras haven't caught you, Coach.
You know, I just ask a lot of questions, and you know, I'm always fighting for my team. You know, kid put his body on the floor. You got to speak up for him. You know,
Here's Sanders down low. Cofield fighting. Cofield gets fouled.
That's about the 3rd time they beat them on that same out-of-bounds play. So,
despite the Tech against East LA, Huskies holding on to a 10-point lead with 4:34 to go in this first half.
I think the Technical might just fire him up. You might see him go on a run here close to half. A lot of times when the player knows the coach has their back, you'll see that extra effort. You know, the Huskies have been playing good, but I think they've been looking a little for the spectacular play. But JT killing them on the box.
JT taps it to Melvin, reverse layup, banked off the glass.
Another offensive rebound. Huskies do that so well off the free throw lane play.
Off balance jumper, trying to go off the glass. Huskies come up with it. Scott knifing through, fakes, getting him off balance. Scott showing skill there. Noel Scott, after the layup, is charged with the foul at the 4:02 mark of this first half. Huskies 43-29 for the Trade-Tech Beavers. Trade-Tech Beavers are all of a sudden starting to fade after an excellent start. It was a back-and-forth affair early on, as Coach Mosley still voicing his opinion.
Still fired up, trying to get his steps in as he coaches.
Substitution.
You must be at 5 million steps, Coach. I mean, geez.
You know, it's kind of lonely.
I see you operate up down that sideline.
It's lonely over there. You want some adult interaction, so you talk to the referees. Sometimes you try to joke with them, you know, try to see their humility. Oh.
Long rebound for Cofield in East LA. Here's Melvin to the point guard, Sanders. Sanders giving direction, orchestrating the offense. That's Melvin. Driving. Ferguson with his 4th block of the game.
Beautiful block.
Here's Ferguson. Can't make the layup. Sanders ahead to DC. DC with the lob. No, gets disrupted. Sanders with the disruption. A whistle on the left side.
Yeah, I think DC was a little indecisive.
For the Huskies, number 32, Melvin.
Had an easy 2-on-1. I think he wanted to dunk it and do something spectacular, got in between. But you have to love his energy.
That's Davion Janelint. Will get 2 at the stripe. Score reads 43 for East LA, 31 currently for the Tech Beavers.
Substitution for the Huskies into the game.
Just 5 miles separate both schools.
And number 5.
A battle within the South Coast Conference North. And it's been a surprising South Coast Conference North this year. It's not surprising that the Huskies are atop of the SEC North, but what's surprising is that PCC is in second currently, and Mount Sac at the very bottom. Langston with the volleyball spike.
And the finger wag saying, don't bring it in here.
On the clock, 3:11. Zanetti goes to Janelint. Deep 3. Off the 3 o'clock side of the rim. That's Lindsay with the board. Oliver. Back to Lindsay. DC asking for the basketball. Finally gets it. Caleb wiggling through. Off balance. Gets rejected by Brandon Sanders, who has now, what is that, 5 or 6 blocks?
5 and counting.
5 and counting.
Showed him the ball very early. Made it an easy play for
Goldfield to Oliver.
2-on-1.
Ferguson with a pretty finish.
Ferguson for 2.
10-point lead by the Huskies.
DC step back 3. Short on that attempt. Oliver comes up with it. No, gets stripped, but it'll remain in possession of East LA.
Great extra effort by Oliver. He could have let that rebound go to the guard, but he kept the pressure on, saved ELAC a possession.
There's Schofield. That's Langston. Back out to DC. 2:15 left. Schofield from the free throw area. Can't get it. Sanders rebound. On the clock, 2:05. 10-point lead for East LA, 43-33. Trying to get back at JT Langston. Desir Thomas trying to catch Langston. Both of them mouthing it at each other.
Langston says that's still his house. Don't bring it in there. But what an explosive attempt by Mr. Jones.
That's Schofield with a rock. Swings it to Lindsay. Lindsay finds the crease, lobs it up, nearly gets it to go.
Lindsay's a lot more explosive than he looks. He kind of lulls you to sleep, and the first step is so explosive. He's down the lane, and he tried to put the little Tim Hardaway teardrop in.
I like the comparison.
Yeah.
This being the 21st game of the season, we've got a decent sample size of what the Huskies possess. How deep would you call the Huskies? 8 deep, 9 deep, 10?
I think they're 10 or 11. 3 outstanding point guards.
Janelint, the putback. Give credit to Omarion Ferguson.
Wow, what an explosive play. A missed three-pointer, and Ferguson comes from the left wing to hammer it home.
I feel like this one just got personal. Schofield drives, can't get it. But he'll get 2 at the line. Tough foul there committed by Sanders.
I love this kind of basketball. This is old school ball. You have to earn it in the lane. We always talked about it being basketball around the arc, but in the key is football. You know, you have to earn those layups.
A minute 12 remains in this tough first half. 44 for the Huskies, 35 for the Tech Beavers. Cofield gets the first one. Ten-point lead now. Cofield will sit out after his 2 free throws. John Sanders inserted back in. 11-point lead.
A little full court pressure now by the Huskies.
DC will chase Berzanetti into the front court. Caleb charged with the foul there. 63 seconds remain in this first half. 46-35. Ball game in favor of East LA in this SEC North matchup.
Berzanetti at the line, shooting 2.
Beavers haven't done a good job of getting to the line. A lot of times when your jumpers are not going, the free throws and the layups can keep you around. You know, Huskies have extended to about 16 and they bring it back to 10. And so they've done a good job of staying with the striking distance.
Just looking at both teams on paper, you instantly think this one was going to be a lot more lopsided. Tech still in the hunt. 9-point lead for the Huskies, 46-37. 55 ticks to go first half. Here's Lindsay. To the corner to DC. DC loses it, recovers, and is fouled. Jazeer Thomas can't believe it.
Foul charge to the
Give
Beavers.
credit to Trade-Tech. On their roster,
His 3rd personal foul.
just 8 players.
Yeah, they're traveling with the minimum and must be low on meal money or something, but
Come up at the line for
they
the
do
Huskies.
a great job of subbing in and out. Most of these guys are very versatile.
As Caleb gets the first one.
And then when you have good guards, a lot of times, you know, you can get to the spots where you want to go to. It's positionless basketball, so.
Yaniv Silvera checks in for Trade-Tech as Jazeer Thomas is taken out. Here's Ferguson. "35 seconds to go. Ferguson tried to get it to the corner to Berzanetti. Berzanetti can't handle. Turnover against the Beavers. 28 seconds to go. Shot clock is turned off. We should expect East LA to hold for this last possession. That's Sanders. Sanders attacking.
Beautiful drive. A little stop and go, hesitation. Drew 3 guys in the air before he dished it off. But he'll go to the line. The Huskies are in the double bonus.
You mentioned it. Inside the paint, it's like football. There Sanders gets dropped with 11.5 to go in a 48-37 ball game in favor of your East LA Huskies.
This Omari Ferguson is a talent. He is handling the pressure, and he's constantly attacking.
Sanders off the mark with the first one. Huskies looking to capture victory number 18 of the season, and they look to go 3-0 in conference. Splashes that one home. Huskies 49, Trade-Tech Beavers 37, 6 seconds to go.
Costly turnover.
Yeah, Davon Janelett can't handle the basketball there, and the Huskies will get one more possession. Sanders with a 30-footer, can't get it. Pippen can't go, and they will go to the locker rooms. Huskies with a decent 49-37 lead over the Trade-Tech Beavers. This one's been really interesting despite Trade-Tech's poor record.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good game because it's two different styles. Where Trade-Tech is looking to attack, pick and roll, downhill, and the Huskies are looking to pass the ball inside on a more of a power attack. So if the Huskies get their running game going, it'll be tough for them.
So we'll step aside for about 15 minutes. Join us here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't go anywhere. Home of the Huskies. Back inside Arena, the South Gym on the campus of East LA College. Thankful and grateful you could join us for another installment of Huskies basketball here live on SportsNetUSA.net. Dan Gudino alongside ELAC women's head coach Bruce Turner. A look at the first half stats here.
Very telling two things that East Los Angeles we didn't feel they played their best game, but they shot 50% from the field. Even going 37% from three, which has been their kind of Achilles heel. But 3 for 8 is very respectable. And when you're scoring from all three levels, deep in the paint with the two bigs, the long ball, and then the pull-up game, it makes it tough for the defense to adjust. And on the other hand, we saw the great fight that Trade-Tech put up, Ferguson getting in the lane, their activity down, running the court, but it didn't turn into a great shooting percentage. 38% from the field, 27 from three.
Trade-Tech, they have no choice but to be balanced in scoring. All 5 of their starters are on the board. They have penciled in some points. Leading scorer for Trade-Tech, Roland McDougall III with 9 points. With 7 points apiece, Davion Janelin, Amari Ferguson, and Julian Berzanetti for East Los Angeles. Leading the way is John Sanders with 12 points. JT Langston with his Tomahawk Jam and highlight reel with 10 points. And Gregory Melvin off the bench with 9 points, so just moments away from the start of the second half. Huskies with a 49-37 lead.
I know Scott only had 2 points, but I really like the way he really showed the offense. He really controlled the play. Got the Huskies in a lot of good things.
It'll be Husky basketball to start the second half. There's John Sanders to Cofield. High post to Scott. Scott trying to weave through, throws it up. Draws some contact.
We call that in the school year. He's got that old man game. He's going to make you play every inch of that box. If you take away something, he's going up and under, just like on that play. He stepped through, went up and under, drew the contact. Now he's at the line.
Not the tallest player, but a sturdy frame. Able to use some power to get through.
Good size.
Especially with Brandon Sanders, who had 5 blocks in the first half.
Yeah. Trade-Tech, it's a deterrent going in there with the arms and the length that they have.
A reminder, this is a South Coast Conference North matchup.
Wow. That wasn't a shooting foul.
Scott gets his 3rd foul. McDougall will inbound into the hands of Ferguson. Berzanetti, 25-footer, too strong. Sanders board ahead to Scott. Scott from the wing to the lane, left-hand finish.
Beautiful lay-in. Almost looked like the fast break drill in practice. Ooh, backcourt violation goes uncalled.
Another deep 3.
Ferguson.
As Coach Mosley will elect to call an early timeout at 19:16 in the second half. Coach Mosley voicing his opinion to the head official. despite an 11-point lead, 51-40 in favor of your Huskies.
I think he was upset that when Scott went to the layup, he was fouled before he was able to land. Thought that was an unsporting play and should have been whistled for a foul. But he was also unhappy with the transition defense and allowing Ferguson to line up a three. So quick, timely.
Yeah, Coach Mosley tends to do that, where if he sees something that he just doesn't agree with or doesn't like from his team, he'll instantly call that timeout.
Yeah, you have to nip it in the bud because the next guy thinks he's going to get away with it. And when you have that type of depth that they have, players get the message really quickly. Substitution start.
On the floor for East LA, Sanders, Hunt, Lindsay, JT Langston, and Corey Cofield. Hunt will be the trigger. On the clock, 19 minutes, 16 seconds to go in a 51-40 ball game.
Scott was subbed for. I hope he's not injured. Right?
I think he was subbed because he got his third foul.
Oh.
High post, that's Langston. Driving in, off balance, gets a splash. Langston continues his stellar play. 13-point lead for East LA, 53-40. As Cofield draws the charge. No, he gets charged, excuse me.
Yeah, he stepped in a little late and he was in the restricted arc.
Foul charge to the Huskies, number 11, Corey Cofield, his second personal.
Langston trying to play attorney for Cofield, trying to get an explanation. There's Zanetti. Over to Silvera, three-pointer.
Well, UCLA inbound play. Right back for the... Oh.
Hunt gets fouled underneath by Silvera.
The Beavers were celebrating. ELAC took the ball up quickly, and Davis advanced it to Hunt. Thought he had a gimme, slipped out of his hand, but he drew the foul.
On the clock, 18 minutes, 41 seconds to go in a 53-43 ball game. As Hunt makes it 54. Hunt whips the net on both of them. 55-43, Husky lead, 18:35 to go. Thankful and grateful you could join us here on SportsNetUSA.net, home of the Huskies. Hunt nearly comes up with it. Silvera swings it. That's McDougal. Back to Silvera. Three straight possessions. Third straight three for the Beavers. 55-46, 18:10 to go. Here's Cofield. Back outside to Sanders. High post, that's Hunt. Hunt, turnaround jumper, can't get it, but he is fouled. What a smooth shot.
Beautiful
Hunt
footwork.
has.
Beautiful footwork, 15 feet out. Put his body on Ferguson. Ferguson tried to close and got him on the hand. Trade-Tech does a good job. They're really not looking to post, but they're trying to draw the Huskies in for the kick out. Have two shooters out on the floor who are really doing a good job spotting up.
After tonight, 5 games will remain until playoff time. One of the bigger questions is, where will the Huskies land as far as seeding? In the past 2 seasons, we've seen East LA with not preferable seeding.
Right.
They were placed a lot lower than they thought they should have been placed into the playoffs.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the publicity they've been drawing. As the kids like to say, a little haterade.
Yeah. As Berzanetti throws a little hate to East LA with the 4th straight three-pointer for the Beavers. Here's Langston down low, gets fouled instantly by Sanders.
And the reason I mention that is, the schedule in which Coach Mosley plays every year in the top tournaments. And what has been our Achilles heel the last couple of years is the SEC Men's North division has been down. And when your league is down, your multiplier is not as strong as it should be.
Poor inbounds play by East LA, a turnover. Ferguson will bring it up for the Tech Beavers. Sanders, turnaround, Langston with the block. Langston gives Sanders a taste of his own medicine. 17:05 to go, second half, 57-49. Sanders trying to weave through, gets stripped. The ball remains in the front court for.
Great hands by the Tech defender.
On the clock, 17 minutes, 1 second. 57 for East LA, 49 for the Tech Beavers.
A little floor mopping going on. These guys are playing really hard. Humidity in the building.
Langston goes down low to Hunt. Hunt will back up. Goes to the free throw area to Langston. Langston trying to find a crease. Off balance, gets it.
Great patience.
Good disruption by Lindsay. Goes off the hands of McDougal. Husky basketball with 16:43 to go, second half. 59-49 Husky lead. Lindsay to Sanders. Hands off to Lindsay, and a quick foul against Lindsay. That was Julian Berzanetti.
Julian Berzanetti, his fourth personal foul.
I really like this Husky lineup with the 2 point guards who are really combo guards, Lindsay and Davis. Really can play either spot. But they're always on the attack with those two guys.
Here's Cofield.
Call for a violation. Looked like he had a power dribble. But that inbound play was there again.
Here's McDougal, nearly losing it, recovers. On the clock, 16:20 to go in a 59-49 ball game. Ferguson weaving through, loses it. Ahead to Sanders. Sanders gets rejected by Sanders. Reverse lay-in by Hunt.
There's another instance where the layup was good. It should have been a foul.
Head coach of Trade-Tech, Cerwin Morgan, calls timeout at 16 minutes. Score reads 61 for East LA, 49 for the Tech Beavers. Head coach of Los Angeles Trade-Tech, Cerwin Morgan, trying to stop some of the momentum from the Huskies at the 16-minute mark.
Davis was on a breakaway, thought he had a layup, but out of nowhere came Sanders for another block. Hunt grabbed the garbage and put it in, and it was banged to the floor, and Coach Mosley was upset again because we don't seem to be protecting the shooter tonight, allowing the shooter to land, which used to be a foul. Steal by Hunt.
Reverse almost falls in.
Terrell Hunt fouled on the shot.
Despite the big lead, Coach Mosley electing to apply the press. No mercy from Coach Mosley.
I don't think he really likes the energy that they've been playing with. So
And a substitution for the Beavers.
a lot of times coaches will go to that to just get the energy going.
On the clock, 15:57, Huskies 61. Trade-Tech 49.
For the Beavers into the game, number 12.
Substitutions coming in.
Thomas.
Julian Berzanetti steps off as Jazir Thomas checks in.
Hunt is a guy you really don't notice, and you look at his box score at the end of the game, and it's, like a Scottie Pippen, he's stuffing stats all over the place.
Hunt whips the net on both of them. 63 for East LA, 49 for Los Angeles Trade-Tech. Ferguson to Sanders. Berzanetti three-pointer off the mark. Langston board. Here's Donjay. Lindsay goes to Hunt, to Langston. The free throw attempt practically splashed home.
Beautiful, beautiful team ball. The ball only hit the floor twice in that front court.
On the clock, 15:15 to go. Second half, 65 for East LA, 49 for the Beavers. There's Thomas, orchestrating the offense. Swings it to Janelett. Back to Thomas. Thomas from the elbow. Too strong. Hunt with the board. Lindsay will bring it up for East LA. 14:55 to go. Hunt. No good. Long rebound by Cofield. Second opportunity for East LA. Hunt will try again. This time, he's good.
The most aggressive I've ever seen him. He loves that free throw line elbow jumper, though.
67 for East LA, 49 for the Beavers. 14:30 to go. Thomas stops on his tracks. Swings it to Ferguson. Ferguson defended by Lindsay. Switching off with Langston. Down low to Sanders. Sanders can't get it. Cofield rebound.
Nice play. Sanders kind of short arm that one.
Here's Lindsay. High post Langston. Down low to Cofield. Cofield trying to find some room. Silvera gets it over to Thomas, who's defended by Langston. On the clock, 13:45 to go. 67 for the Huskies, 49 for the Beavers. Three-pointer by Silvera, way short. Hunt rebound. Noel Scott.
That was great closeout defense from the Huskies. Made that shot short.
That's Lindsay with the ball. Lindsay will lift for three.
Beautiful. Beautiful motion there. Ends with a great three-point basket by Lindsay.
Huskies 70. Trade-Tech 49, 13:05 to go. Put back attempt by Sanders. No. Huskies have numbers. Cofield gets fouled from behind. He's upset.
Yeah, he was out front and about to throw the ball down. He was looking for the dunk and went up and got clipped from behind.
You could see Coach Mosley in the face of the official.
He wants an intentional foul because it was not a play on the ball. This is about the third Husky that's hit the floor on a contested shot. We did get the foul called, but Coach Mosley wants the intentional foul.
You're the coach. Was that dirty or not?
I don't think it was dirty, but it's definitely an intentional foul, which the referees have decided to call.
Charged with a flagrant foul.
Usually when a player's in the air, you don't hit their legs nor push them from behind, and that push came directly from behind because you have no control of yourself once you leave the ground.
Husky faithful also voicing their opinions to the officiating crew.
Hey, everybody's refereeing, only three getting paid, they'd say.
On the clock, 12:59 to go. As Cofield gets the first of two tees.
He's walking around a little gingerly.
Into the game for the Beavers, number 1, Roland McDougal.
He might pep up. If a sub runs to the table, he might get better in a hurry.
Cofield in the line for the Huskies, shooting 1.
Score reads 71-49. You could hear the murmuring going around from the fans, talking about how much of a cheap shot that was, supposedly.
Yeah, it wasn't a play on the ball at all.
72 for East LA, 49 for Tech Beavers. Cofield will inbound.
Oh,
Gets
boy.
it down low to Scott, reverse lay-in.
Noel Scott.
74 for East LA, 49 for the Beavers. 12:50 remains in this ballgame. This is Thomas, gets stripped.
Showtime.
A 1-on-2. Sanders with the steal. Sanders gets pushed by Langston.
Foul charge to the Huskies, number 20, J.T.
A
Langston.
2-on-1 with
The
Langston
second
and
personal foul.
oh boy, that was going to be something special. Could not get the pass through. Great defense by Sanders for Trade-Tech.
What was the correct play there? Just to lay it up yourself or look for the dish?
Well, you got to try and make the defender come to you on the 2-on-1, and he didn't do that. It was a low bounce pass. That was going to be a tough catch for Langston anyway. Probably over the top was the play. Alley-oop.
Thomas driving. Thomas with the friendly roll.
That was a great drive. 2 hands on the ball,
Foul
took the
charge to
contact,
Huskies, number 20,
and laid it in very strong.
His third personal.
That was actually Roland McDougal with the made basket as he goes to the line.
Shooting 1.
Some nice Trade-Tech uniforms, but you can't tell one number from the next.
That's my trouble. Story of my life. McDougal trying to go up against Langston. Langston won't have it. Commits the foul, though.
Foul charge to the Huskies, number 20, J.T. Langston.
That's the third
His
personal
fourth
foul, or actually fourth personal foul against Langston. He'll most likely have to step off.
The line for the Beavers.
Clock reads 12:21. Scoreboard now reads 74 for the Huskies,
And a
52
substitution for the Huskies
for
into the game, number 32.
Tech Beavers.
A lot of chirping going out there on the floor.
ELAC Cofield.
The referee is going to have to get control.
Second one off the mark. Cofield rebound. Lindsay will bring it up for East LA. 12:10 remains in the ballgame. Scott recovers. Cofield goes to work. Cofield caught walking.
And the Huskies called for traveling.
12 minutes remain.
He got a little bit of a hurry there. He didn't know if he wanted to spin or step through. He was looking for the body contact, and the Trade-Tech player stepped away, so he couldn't feel him, so he shuffled his feet.
74-52 in favor of ELAC. Good drive there. That was Omari Ferguson. Cofield attacks. Cofield kicks out. Scott 3. Too strong. Elijah Cofield rebound. Last touch by the Beavers.
ELAC basketball.
Cofield will trigger. Lops it up and a steal. Ferguson, left hand hammer.
Wow.
Coach Mosley elects to call timeout. We'll stay on the air here with 11:29 to go in a 74-56 ball game in favor of number 6 East LA College. Coach Mosley has seen enough, huh?
Yeah, that was a lot of sloppy. Two bobbles by the guys trying to go to the Cofield brothers. Each had a turnover, and then a turnover on the inbound play, which allowed Ferguson to demonstrate some of his athletic ability. His quickness is unbelievable, but the way he left the floor on that slam dunk was great.
Is it necessary to call timeout in that situation? Is that your style?
I usually go, if we're scoring, I wouldn't, but you have to get the guys' attention when they're playing sloppy. You know, you got to come back. Somebody has to be out there to settle them down. Let's get back into our offense, our motion offense, or call a play where we know we can get a good shot.
By the way, that's the voice of ELAC women's basketball. Head coach Bruce Turner. I'm Dan Gudino. Thankful and grateful you could join us here on the home of the Huskies, sportsnetusa.net. Husky basketball out of the timeout with 11:25 to go now.
And Mosley I thought he was going to the stall game a little quick, but decided to play motion.
This is Cofield. Goes to Scott. Scott backing down his defender. Knifing through, can't get it. Cofield rebound. Cofield tries to go with the left hand. His big bro tries to go up. Elijah Cofield foul.
So it sounds like a law firm, Cofield and Scott on the boards. But they were doing work inside, challenging the big guys for Trade-Tech.
11:03 remains, 74-56, Husky lead. If the playoffs were to start today, Huskies technically should be the #3 team out of the South. If things remain the same, what's the selection committee going to do? That's the big question. As you said, during South Coast Conference North play, the level of play instantly drops. According to the Massey ratings, MasseyRatings.com, East Los Angeles College possessed the hardest schedule, the toughest schedule. McDougal trying to create a highlight of his own. Instead gets fouled.
McDougal had something special on his mind, and Cofield met him. And at the summit, I think McDougal kind of wiped out, but he was coming with a lot of aggression. And that's what you have to do. Go to the basket. When your team is struggling, go strong and make the referee put you on the line. But getting back to the Huskies' playoff chances, I never liked the Massey Index.
The guy's a genius, by the way.
Yeah.
Eric Massey.
Yeah. But, the old eye test, and then in the situations, the road games, the Porterville, still by Cofield.
Sanders off balance, too strong. Scott rebound. They'll reset the offense here. So a free possession for East LA as Gregory Melvin gets swatted. Loose ball, last touch by the Beavers. So Husky possession. Clock reads 10:26 in a 77-58 ball game in favor of your Huskies.
But as a coach, all you can really ask for is to have home court advantage until you get to the state playoffs. Because the rankings and all that seeding stuff is really subjective.
Melvin, reverse lane, gets swatted by Sanders. That's at least got to be like 6 swats or 7 swats. Loose ball, last touch by the Huskies.
Beaver basketball.
Coach Mosley being animated.
Sanders has shown great coverage of the lane. The lane is closed when he's available.
Three-pointer on the way off, grabs his own. And that's Jazir Thomas. He'll slow things down.
That was one of those shots you can't get on your team about rebounding. It was such a bad miss. Went off the corner of the board and rebounded out near the 28-foot line.
But can you get on your player for taking the shot?
Yeah.
McDougal will trigger. Gets it over to Silvera. Silvera guarded by Sanders. Sanders comes up with it. Sanders stripped from behind, but ball goes sailing out of bounds. Husky possession with 9:41 to go. 77 for East LA, 58 for the Beavers of Trade-Tech.
The Beavers just grow on you. They don't settle down. They don't fall away.
DC lobs it to Scott. Back to DC. Caleb
Great
to the
pass.
corner. Cofield, too strong. Last touch by Sanders, or excuse me, last touch by Melvin of ELAC.
Foul charge number 23 by Cofield.
Coach Mosley upset that he's getting his second tee.
Well, they gave the technical to Eli Cofield for flopping on the three-point attempt.
Excuse me, so it wasn't against Coach Mosley.
Right. But he's upset. He's close. He's close. I think Bobby Gudino might have to take over. But the referee probably felt as though he traveled before and after he flopped, which is a technical foul now for trying to deceive the official.
Here's Ferguson, good drive. On the clock, 9:10 remains, 77-61, as Trade-Tech has instantly made it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Scott.
Oh boy, what a beautiful move.
Excellent hesitation as Trade-Tech will call timeout with 8:52 to go. 79 for East LA, 61 for Tech here on SportsNetUSA.net. Despite the lead, the pressure's on.
Right, because when a team is feeling that they're right in the game, you have to not give them anything. So, young kids, they want to come in like Cofield doesn't play as much. He wants to do something special. His brother wants to do something special, but it's caused a few turnovers, so the game tightened back up. So it's up to Davis and Scott to kind of guide those guys through this time.
On the clock, 8:45 remains in a 79-61 lead for the Huskies. And a foul is called against Scott. Pokes the hand of Ferguson.
That might be 5 on him.
His fourth personal
fourth foul.
8:43 remains, 79-61 in favor of your Huskies.
Shooting 2? 1 and 1. Okay.
You're still coaching. It's over. Relax.
Hey.
That's Coach Bruce Turner joining me here on the call. I'm Dan Gudino. Thankful and grateful you could join us.
Always glad to be here. Get a front row seat.
8:35 remains, 79-63. Here's Scott trying to knife through, finds Elijah Cofield, can't get it, grabs his own, puts it up. He's fouled.
Oh, you see what a great shot blocker does. Scott came in and made a great play. Sanders came over for the switch, dished it to Cofield, and because Cofield knew Sanders was in the lane, he hesitated and blew the gimme. But he's now at the free throw line trying to make up for it. Sanders has been a great defender in there tonight.
Gotta like the effort from Elijah Cofield. You mentioned it. He doesn't really get a lot of playing time, but when he does, he's in there trying to create, right?
Yeah, he's causing havoc. Beautiful.
Huskies now with 81 points. Tech Beavers 63, 8:25 remains, second half.
Ooh.
Foul charge for the Huskies, number 10, John Sanders.
This has got to be one of the more chippiest games of the season for East LA.
And what's troubling for the coaches is that there's been a lot of contact, and then you get something like that. It was a little bit of a touch foul. So it's hard for them to gauge, even tougher for the players.
First of the 1-and-1 sunk in by Ferguson. 81-64 ball game with 8:20 to go.
I always thought it was interesting where people say, you adjust to the refereeing.
How do you do that?
There's a guy you just met at tip-off, They have all the film on you. Why would they adjust to the players?
Down low to Cofield. That one's intercepted and taken back by Sanders. DC from the corner. Baseline drive and a two-hand slam.
Brave young man. He took his life in his hands. Sanders was there waiting on him, but decided not to challenge. But what a highlight show he gave the fans.
7:55 to go in an 83-65 ball game. Sanders way off on that one. Melvin rebound. Here's Sanders bringing it left to right. Melvin spins, and he is caught walking with 7:39 to go in the second half. Huskies 83, Tech 65. This is Ferguson. Gets it to McDougal. McDougal will lift for three. He's fouled and gets it.
McDougal fouled on the shot.
Tough call. I thought he was a good challenge. He gave him a high five, which is not a foul because the ball is gone. No body contact. That's a tough one to take there. But what a shot by McDougal. That was a great challenge.
The pesky Beavers sticking around in this one. McDougal can't get the 4-point play. Score reads 83-68 in favor of ELAC with 7:15 to go. Here's Scott. Gets it to DC. DC nearly losing the dribble. He does lose it. Recovers. Can't get it over to the corner, but Scott there. 5 seconds to go on the ticker. Turnover. The lob. Lobs it up to himself. Ooh. And he comes down hard on his left leg. He's hobbling. That's Jazir Thomas.
What a play. Alley-oop to yourself, bank pass, lay it up, lay it in. He looked over me and winked, just like he had drew it up that way.
Looks like Thomas is a little dehydrated. He's given the Gatorade.
Took a shot of Gatorade, he's back in there. Huh?
That's all it takes, right?
For the Huskies, number 11.
The power of youth.
Oh, man.
That should be the new slogan for Gatorade. 6:40 to go, 83-70. Here's Cofield. Sanders from the corner to Melvin. Skips it to Lindsey. Lindsey off the heel.
Ferguson in the open court.
Ferguson, left hand. Can't finish, but a foul is called against Sanders. Sanders on the far sideline in disbelief.
His second personal.
Last couple of calls have been a little tight, but credit to the Beavers. They keep coming. Sanders had pretty good defense position, but Ferguson forced the issue.
Clock reads 6:23. Scoreboard now reads 83-71 as Langston will come in. Elijah Cofield will sit out.
Pretty good minutes by Cofield tonight. He always stirs up the action, but he did a lot of good things on the block to give JT that rest he needed.
On the way and short. Littlebro Cofield rebounds it, gets it over to Sanders. 6:15 remains. A lob, Sanders to Cofield. The connection extends the lead, 85-71. 6:05 to go.
Great eye contact and communication between those two guys.
McDougal short. Langston with the board. 5:55 remains. 85 for the Huskies, 71 for Tech. Sanders hands off to Cofield. To the corner, that's Lindsey. Langston hands off to Sanders, who will launch the three. Too strong on that attempt. Here's Jazir Thomas. 5:25 to go. Ferguson. Kickball.
You know, Trade-Tech has some really good-looking shooters that, you know, in their form in the air. They really sting with the shot. It's if they ever get anything going inside, they'll be a tough team to deal with.
5:22 to go. 85-71, Husky lead. Three-pointer by Silvera, short. Trade-Tech's been short on the last couple of attempts. You start to think maybe fatigue is starting to play in as Melvin gets an easy deuce. And an instant foul is called underneath the rim.
Technical foul.
Oh, a technical foul is called, excuse me, against Melvin after his shot.
Scored the ball, and I think he kind of threw the ball to the kid, to the Trade-Tech inbounder. I didn't think it was unsporting. I think the referee thought he was taunting because he didn't say anything to him, he just tossing the ball.
5:06 to go, 87-71.
But for you fans out there, when the ball goes through the net, the offensive team cannot touch it because it's considered a delay of game. But if you throw it to the other team, it can be considered taunting.
87-73, 5 minutes remain in this one. That's Thomas to the corner to Silvera, squaring up for the three. Off the heel, into the hands of Cofield. Here's Sanders with 4:45 to go. Huskies 87-73 for the Beavers. Lindsay, floater, good. Nearly stolen by Cofield. Silvera, baseline jumper goes in. 89-75, Husky lead. 4:20 to go. Langston down low, gently taps it.
Beautiful 60-foot pass right on the money. Langston rim running, caught it, let Sanders fly by, and then kiss one off the glass, nice and soft.
As Coach Mosley calls timeout with 4:18 to go. 91 for the Huskies, 75 for the Beavers. Huskies basketball on SportsNetUSA.net. Formidable Husky lead, 91-75 over the Beavers of Trade-Tech. 4 minutes, 18 seconds to go in this ball game. Dan Gudino alongside Bruce Turner.
Probably will see Trade-Tech, if they're able to score, do some full court pressing. This last 4-minute stretch is usually called winning time. The Huskies get the turnover.
Cofield credited with the steal there. 3:50 remains. Here's Melvin. Hands off to Lindsay. That's Sanders now. Langston attacks.
Wow.
Offhand and one.
Beautiful drop pass. Screen and roll to the middle. The big guy release. Little pocket drop pass. So nonchalant. Langston rides it up, rides it in, draws the foul.
Langston now with 20 points in this one. Although Omari Ferguson of Trade-Tech has 21, he could tie him up here.
Davis reminds me of the point guard at Utah Jazz, a lefty. I can't remember his name. Goodness, how come to me.
From where?
Utah Jazz, the little left-handed. He played in Memphis for so long, but they play very smooth and slow.
He's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I can't.
Into the game for the Huskies, number 2, Noel Scott.
Now you got me thinking all day, or all night. Clock reads 3:36 in a 94-75 ball game in favor of ELAC. Three-point attempt. Short.
Mike Connolly.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, JT's a really good ball handler out top to be his size.
That's Scott who launches and drains one from three-point land. 97-75. All Huskies. 2:50 remains. Thomas drives. A putback attempt by Sanders. Well, that looked like it was above the rim.
Sanders with the 2.
What do we know?
Way above the rim. He went and got it and threw it down. It was goaltending, but I love the energy the big guy showed.
Langston off balance, feeling it tonight.
Oh, it's too good, too good.
That's 23 points by Langston. Gets caught sleeping, though, on the other end.
That post move was so great. He was admiring himself, and there's a touchdown pass, went the other way, layup behind him. I'm sure Coach Mosley will remind him tomorrow in practice.
That's for sure. That's Scott down low to Melvin. Gets the bounce. Huskies 101. Tech Beavers 79, a minute 50 to go. This is already the second highest scoring game for the Huskies. Huskies had a 119-57 victory over Cuyamaca at the Cuyamaca Classic.
And the Huskies.
So we get a stoppage for a substitution. A minute 32 to go. Huskies 101. Tech Beavers 79. Cofield in and out.
Oh.
Caleb with the tip in, offhand too with his right hand. Wow.
Wow.
Athleticism there shown by Caleb.
Absolutely. In traffic.
Silvera rattles one home.
Silvera for a Beaver 2.
Great form on his jumper.
70 seconds remain. Huskies 103-81 Beavers. DC no look pass to Cofield. Cofield goes up and is fouled by Sanders.
Foul charge to the Beavers, number 12.
Cofield checks in. He's right in the mix again.
His 4th personal.
I like that he is intentional about scoring. He doesn't fool around once he's in the lane. He's going straight up, whether it's blocked or whatever.
57 ticks to go in this one, as the Huskies will come up with victory number 18 of the season.
I'll tease Coach Mosley all the time. I think this is his best defensive team. The team that started the third quarter really put a great, I think they had 4 out of 5 stops, which allowed them to extend the lead. One of his better defensive teams.
Elijah Cofield extends the lead. 105-81, 50 seconds to go. Cofield goes over the back of Sanders.
Foul charge to the Huskies, number 23.
45 seconds left.
His second personal. Sanders from the line.
Heard someone in the stand ask for tacos, thinking we were at crypto.com.
Not yet. $105 for East LA. 83 for the Tech Beavers with 40 seconds to go. Here's Caleb. Deep three. He whips the net.
Demetrius Keller for 3.
Beautiful stroke there, DC.
108-83.
Mr. Ferguson comes in for a two-handed jam.
Thomas for 2.
108.83, 15 seconds to go. That should do it. This one is a final. Huskies move to 18-3. They move to 3-0 in the South Coast Conference North and are now on a 4-game win streak.
Yeah.
The Trade-Tech Beavers, they fall to 3-19 and now are 0-2 in conference play. A decisive and exciting victory for East LA here tonight, Coach.
Very exciting. It was a situation where you just knew something big was going to happen. And once JT and Scott got into the flow, I mean, things just happened so easily for them. You know, in the first half, they just kind of mellowed them down. The second half, they put them away.
So the Huskies come up with a decisive 108-85 victory over the Trade-Tech Beavers. Really appreciate everyone joining us here on the home of the Huskies, SportsNetUSA.net. For Coach Bruce Turner, Cerwin D. Haynes, Noah Alvarez, I'm Dan Gudino. Join us. Let's see when our next game will be. That will be on Friday here inside the arena. Actually, that will be on the road.
We're home Wednesday.
Oh, that's right.
To Pasadena.
Hold on. Pulling it up, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Wednesday, February the 1st against Pasadena. So that'll be here on SportsNetUSA.net. Everybody have a great night.